you here for your first Italian lesson? That's great. Okay, so is it the first time that you are trying to learn a new language, or you already know other languages? That's great. Okay. And do you know any famous Italian words? Well, very classic, of course. Pizza, pasta. That's great. That's a very good start. So today I'd like to start by learning how Italian people greet each other. Okay? Yeah. I'll use a lot of colors because they're very useful in getting things into your memory. So first of all, we'll use green to write the most common way in which people greet in Italy. Okay, so here we have here it is, and it says C-I-A-O, which means hello. And you can pronounce it as ciao. It's exactly identical to hello. You're entering in a shop and you will say ciao, and it's very informal. Of course, you can greet a friend by using ciao. You won't use it with a professor at school or in college or with your boss. But if you see your colleague, you can definitely tell them ciao. You see? C-I-A-O. Ciao. Okay, and then we have the way of greeting that depends on which time of the day we are in. So for example, we have buon giorno, which means good morning. You see? B-U-O-N-G-O-R-N-O, which means good morning. You can tell it to while entering in a shop to greet if it's morning, of course, or you can tell it to your relatives while waking up. Buongiorno. In Italy, we don't actually have good afternoon. We have it. It will be buon, just like we did buon, but instead of giorno, we will say pomeriggio. It's very difficult for a non-Italian speaker, but it says pom as in pomegranate, and then there is eriggio. So we have P-O-M-E-R-I-G-G-I-O. Buon pomeriggio. Previously, I told you that we don't really have good afternoon, and actually, yeah, we have it, but it's not common usually people after 12 p.m. will tell you good evening. It's very unusual to hear good afternoon. So if you want to say good evening, you will have to keep the buon, which means good, and you will say buona sera. B-U-O-N-A S-E-R-A. Buona sera. So let's pretend we are friends and you meet me in the streets. What would you tell me? Ciao. Very good. Very, very good. And if you want to greet me and we have just met in the evening, great. Buonasera. And if we have just met in the morning, you just woke up and you meet me, buongiorno. That's very, very, very good. Now, as you haven't told me your name yet, I'd love to teach you how to introduce yourself. So, in English, we say I am. And in Italian, it's very, very similar. So if in English you say I am, in Italian you will say io sono. So for example, if I ask you what's your name, which in Italian is come ti chiami o qual è il tuo nome, you will answer io sono, because this is the pronoun I, io, and am is the verb to be, which is the verb essere in Italian. So I am. Io sono. So if I ask you what's your name, you will answer come ti chiami? That's good. Very, very good. Mio sono Vi. My name is Vi. That's great. So you can already tell ciao, io sono. So you can tell hello, I am. We are already halfway through. Now, let's pretend you go in a shop. You get everything you need and you go to the cash, to the register. And they give you your item and your exchange money and you want to thank them. Which word would you use? In Italy, we use grazie, which means thank you. G R A Z I E. Grazie, which is thank you. So if I give you this pen, what will you tell me? Grazie. And I'll answer prego, which means you're welcome. So prego. 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 Okay, so what if I meet you on the street? You would tell me ciao. And if I ask your name, you would tell me io sono. And then if I give you something, even a flyer, you would tell me grazie, and I would answer prego. I know it may sound difficult in the beginning because of course it's a very, very different language from English, but I feel that you can already speak a few sentences, and that's great. Now, if you want, we can go on and try to learn how to say yes or no. This is going to be very, very simple. Yes is sì. And no, it's even easier, is no. So we say sì when you want to say yes, when you want to say that you agree, or that I'm right, or that you want something, and no if you don't want anything. We don't actually say no as you would say in English. We'd say no. It's a bit shorter, like if you were going for a no and you just stop, you go no. And sì. Okay, so let's pretend I offer you a piece of cake. What would you say? Great. And then grazie, and I would say prego. What if I offer you something nasty, like smelly cheese? You would go no. That's very, very good. And now our last vocabulary moment of the day. I'm very sorry if you can hear some strange sounds, but as you probably saw while getting here, there is a huge storm outside, and that's the wind. In the beginning, I thought it would be nice to have our lesson while it was raining because it would be relaxing, but it's not raining anymore. Now it's a storm. So let's start with numbers, okay? So I would say one, which is uno. You see that there is a similarity between one and uno. U N O. Uno. Then there is two, which is D U E, which is in Italian due. You see, you probably have already noticed, but what in English we call E, in Italian is E, as in elephant. And D is very similar, as in dolphin. And U is in university. So it's due. And as well is in uno, it's U as in university, N as in Napster block, O, as in orphan. Uno. And then we have, after 1, 2 comes the 3, which is very, very similar. It's 3. So instead of saying 3, as you would say in English, you say 3. It's like 3, but you pronounce the E as elephant. So 3. Very good. Now time for a little quick test. I know it's just the first day, but it's not going to be a difficult one, I promise. And you won't get a bad mark for failing it. Okay? Great. So, which is this number? Uno. Very good. And this one? Due. Okay. And this one again? Uno. Very good. And this one? Tre. That's great. Or as I would say in Italian, but this one you definitely already know, bravo. And it's actually a bit different from what you say in English. It's not bravo, it's bravo. There isn't an accent on the O. And if you're a girl, I would say brava, because in Italy we end up adjectives in O if it's male, A if it's female. Unfortunately, we don't have a neutral as a pronoun, as a gender in our language, but when we are referring to of course in spoken language, because otherwise we use other ways, but if we refer to someone who wants neutral pronouns, we use the masculine form. So if you have a friend who's non-binary and you want to use an adjective, of course you can ask them, but usually we will use male adjectives because it's the most similar thing. But of course you'd have to ask. That's norm, but that's what we do. What we usually do. Now we will go on with 2 more numbers, and then we will be done. Okay. So we have 4, which is, it's gonna be difficult. Quattro. This is a tough one. We have a Q, U, A, T, T, R, O. And if you want to remember it, you may think of the sound that ducks make. So, quack, 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 quack. And it's going to be quattro. So, very similar to the pronunciation of tre, but with an O. So it's quattro. And then we have 5, which is cinque. I know these are tough, but I promise it gets easier, because the more and more you go on, the numbers are similar to the first 10 numbers. So for example, I just want to let you have an idea. We say 20 as 20, and then it's just like in English, 25, it's gonna be 25, or 21, it's gonna be 21. You see? Okay, so we have C, I, N, Q, U, E, which is cinque. It's a bit similar to Spanish, I don't know Spanish, but I know that you say Cinco de Mayo. The first part is very similar. It's cinque. Okay, that's great. We are now done with our lesson. You were very, very, very good. And for next week, I just want you to revise everything we have learned today. Okay? Great. I wish you a pleasant evening, and I